Ethan, that car was never following me. It was following my family. 3 weeks earlier, Noah Bennett had believed the worst part was finally over. The rumors at Westbrook High had faded. Ethan Carter's name had been cleared, and somewhere between the community festival lights and the moment their hands had quietly found each other, Noah had stopped thinking of Ethan as the school's impossible golden boy and started seeing him as simply Ethan, which, honestly, was worse for his heart. At 17, Ethan looked like he had been designed specifically to make high school yearbooks unfair to everyone else. Tall, athletic, clean-cut, with sandy blonde hair that never seemed to stay messy for long, clear blue eyes, and the effortless confidence of someone who had spent years being noticed. Noah was different. Also 17, lean and quietly handsome. He had soft dark brown hair falling over his forehead, warm hazel eyes, pale skin, and the permanently thoughtful expression of someone who noticed everything but preferred saying half of it. They still had not discussed what the hand-holding meant. Apparently, surviving an 8-year mystery together was easier than asking, "So, are we dating now?" Ethan had simply started appearing beside Noah more often. At lunch, after class, at the coffee shop 2 blocks from school. He remembered Noah's usual order without asking and always took the chair facing the door. Noah noticed that last part. Of course he did. He noticed everything about Ethan now. "You're doing it again," Noah said one Tuesday afternoon, stirring melting ice around his cup. Ethan glanced away from the window. "Doing what?" "Scanning the parking lot, like your Secret Service." "I was looking outside." Very aggressively. The corner of Ethan's mouth lifted. "Is there a peaceful way to look through glass?" Noah almost smiled. Almost. Then Ethan's expression changed. It happened so quickly that Noah might have missed it months ago. The smile vanished. His shoulders stiffened. His eyes fixed on something beyond Noah's shoulder. "Ethan." No answer. Noah turned toward the window. Across the street, beneath the shade of an old maple tree, sat a dark blue sedan. Ordinary. Quiet. Parked maybe 40 yards away. Noah's stomach dropped anyway. He knew that color. He knew that shape. He knew the car from photographs, timestamps, maps, and 8 years of evidence they had believed was finally behind them. "No," Noah whispered. Ethan was already standing. "Stay here." Noah caught his wrist. "Absolutely not." Ethan looked down at Noah's hand, then into his eyes. Something passed between them, familiar and frustrating. Protectiveness. Fear. The old Ethan trying to carry everything alone. Noah released him and stood. "We do this together now, remember?" For once, Ethan didn't argue. They stepped outside, but the sedan was already pulling away from the curb. No speeding. No dramatic escape. It simply disappeared around the corner as though whoever sat behind the wheel knew panic would attract attention. Noah reached for his phone and zoomed in on the photo he had managed to take through the window. The license plate was blurry, but visible. Ethan leaned closer, his shoulder brushing Noah's. Then Noah noticed something tucked beneath the windshield wiper of his own car. A white envelope. His name was written across it in neat black ink. Noah Bennett. Ethan went completely still. Noah opened it. Inside was a single photograph, yellowed slightly at the edges. A younger version of Noah stood between his parents outside their old house, smiling at something beyond the camera. Parked behind them was the same dark blue sedan. Noah flipped the photograph over. For words were written on the back. "Ask your mother." 8 years ago. Noah looked up. Ethan had gone pale. "You've seen this before," Noah said quietly. Ethan didn't answer. And somehow, that silence frightened Noah more than the car ever had. Noah kept his eyes on Ethan. "You have seen this before." Ethan looked toward the street where the sedan had disappeared, but Noah was finished accepting silence as an answer. "Ethan." That finally brought those blue eyes back to him. For everyone else at Westbrook, Ethan Carter was impossible to shake. Perfect grades, easy smile, calm voice, the kind of confidence that made teachers trust him and students follow him. Noah had learned the truth. Ethan was good at looking fearless. That was not the same as being fearless. "Not that photograph," Ethan said. "The message." Noah felt something cold settle in his stomach. "Ask your mother?" Ethan nodded. 8 months ago, I received an email from an address that disappeared the next day. It said, "If Noah ever learns about the blue car, tell him to ask his mother." Noah stared at him. 8 months ago? I thought it was another attempt to scare me away from investigating. "So you deleted it?" No, of course he had not. This was Ethan. He probably had 3 backups and a printed copy organized by date. Under any other circumstances, Noah might have teased him about it. Instead, he folded the old photograph carefully and slipped it back into the envelope. "We are going to my house." Ethan hesitated. "Noah, maybe we should figure out who left this first. You spent years figuring things out before telling me. How did that work for us?" Ethan winced. "Fair." 20 minutes later, they stood in Noah's kitchen while late afternoon sunlight stretched across the tile. The house felt painfully normal. A grocery list hung from the refrigerator. 2 coffee mugs waited beside the sink. Noah's mother, Claire Bennett, stood at the counter sorting mail when they walked in. She smiled at Ethan first. "You must be Ethan. Noah has mentioned you." Noah nearly forgot the mystery. "Mom." "What?" "You have." Ethan looked suspiciously pleased. "Frequently. Do not encourage her." For 1 second, everything felt light. Then Noah placed the photograph on the counter. His mother stopped breathing. Not dramatically, not loudly. She simply froze, one envelope still caught between her fingers. Noah's chest tightened. "Mom, what is this?" Claire stared at the blue sedan in the background. "Where did you get that?" Wrong answer. Noah had been hoping for confusion, maybe even laughter. He had not expected recognition. "Someone left it on my car today." Claire looked immediately toward the kitchen window. Ethan noticed. Noah noticed Ethan noticing. "Mrs. Bennett," Ethan said gently. "Do you recognize the vehicle?" Claire lowered the blinds. That tiny movement changed the entire room. "You two need to stop looking into this." Noah gave a disbelieving laugh. "That is not an explanation. It is the only answer I can give you. Someone has been watching me for 8 years. Claire's expression cracked. "Noah, please." "Why?" His voice came out softer than he intended. "Why would anyone care about me when I was 9 years old?" Silence. Ethan stepped closer, not touching him, but near enough that Noah could feel the reassurance of his presence. Claire looked between them, and something in her face shifted when she saw how close Ethan stood. "This did not start with you," she whispered. Noah's heartbeat stumbled. "What does that mean?" Claire closed her eyes. "The car was there before you ever noticed it. Before Ethan noticed it. Before Westbrook." Noah looked down at the photograph again. His parents were smiling. His younger self was smiling. The sedan sat behind them like a detail nobody had thought to question. Then who were they watching? Claire did not answer. Her phone suddenly buzzed against the counter. She glanced at the screen and went pale. Noah could see only one line of the message before she turned the phone face down. He found the photograph. Noah slowly lifted his eyes to his mother. "Who sent that?" Claire said nothing. Ethan's hand found Noah's, steady and warm. This time Noah held on first. And in the terrible quiet of that ordinary kitchen, he understood something that changed the mystery completely. Whoever had been sending the anonymous messages was not guessing what Noah was doing. They already knew. Noah did not let go of Ethan's hand. Who sent that message? Claire stared at the phone as if turning it face down could somehow erase what all 3 of them had already seen. "Mom." Noah's voice was quiet now, and somehow that made the question heavier. Claire slowly sat at the kitchen table. "His name is Daniel Mercer." Ethan's expression sharpened. "Who is he?" "Someone your father and I knew a long time ago," Claire said. Noah pulled out the chair across from her. Ethan remained beside him, close enough that their shoulders nearly touched. "And he knows someone left that photograph for me?" Claire nodded. "Because Daniel has been trying to warn me that this might happen." Noah blinked. "Warn you?" "Those anonymous messages have been making me feel watched for years." Not all of them came from Daniel. The refrigerator hummed behind them. A car passed outside. Ordinary sounds suddenly felt impossibly loud. Ethan leaned forward. "How many people were involved?" Claire rubbed her palms together. "I do not know anymore." Noah felt Ethan's fingers tighten around his once, then relax. A question had been building inside Noah since the photograph appeared, but he was almost afraid to give it words. Was the sedan following Dad? Claire looked at him. That was enough. Noah stood so quickly his chair scraped backward. "You knew?" "I knew your father was frightened." "That is not the same thing." "Noah, your father made me promise. Dad has been gone for 6 years. You could have told me." Claire's eyes filled with something deeper than guilt. "And given you what? A name I could not prove? A story that might have put you directly in the middle of something you were too young to understand." Noah turned away, pressing both hands against the counter. He hated that part of him understood her. He hated even more that another part felt like the floor of his childhood had quietly disappeared beneath him. Ethan stepped beside him. "Breathe," he murmured. Noah gave him a sideways look. "Do not become annoyingly calm right now. I am terrified." Noah paused. Ethan's voice had been so matter-of-fact that it took a second to register. "You are, completely." A tiny, helpless laugh escaped Noah. Ethan smiled for barely a second. Then Claire spoke again. "There is somewhere you need to go." She opened a drawer and removed a small brass key attached to a faded red tag. "Your father rented a storage unit in Mill Creek, about 35 miles north of here. After he died, I kept paying for it because I could never bring myself to open it." Noah stared at the key. "What is inside?" "I do not know." Ethan looked unconvinced. "Mrs. Bennett, if Daniel Mercer is warning you, why not contact him directly?" Claire hesitated. "Because Daniel disappeared 8 years ago." Noah slowly turned toward her. "Then who just texted you from his number?" Nobody had an answer. Claire pushed the key across the table. Noah picked it up. The metal felt strangely cold in his palm. Ethan looked at him and immediately understood. "We are going to Mill Creek." Claire stood. "Not tonight." "Tomorrow morning," Noah said. "Together." Ethan nodded. No argument. No secret plan. Together. Later, standing beside Ethan's car beneath the fading evening sky, Noah finally asked, "Are you going to try talking me out of this?" Ethan leaned against the driver's door. "Would it work?" "Absolutely not." "Then I am adapting." Noah smiled despite himself. Ethan looked at him for a moment longer than necessary, his expression softening. "For what it is worth, you do not have to pretend you are okay around me." Noah looked down at the brass key in his hand. "Neither do you." Their eyes met. No golden boy. No quiet kid. Just two 17-year-olds standing in a driveway with more questions than answers. Then Ethan's phone vibrated. One new email. No sender name. No subject. Just a single sentence. "If you go to Mill Creek, do not take the Blue Highway." The warning stayed on Ethan's phone all night, and by 7 the next morning Noah had read it enough times to hate every word. If somebody wanted us to stay away from Mill Creek, they picked a terrible strategy, Noah said as he climbed into Ethan's car. Ethan glanced at him. "You realize that is exactly the kind of sentence people say before making questionable decisions. Then drive responsibly while we make ours." Ethan almost smiled. Almost. They avoided Blue Highway entirely, taking an older county route that added nearly 12 miles to the trip. Westbrook disappeared behind them, replaced by quiet neighborhoods, open fields, gas stations, and long stretches of road washed in pale morning sunlight. For the first 20 minutes, neither spoke. Noah kept the brass key in his palm. Ethan kept checking the mirrors. "You are doing it again," Noah said. "Doing what?" "Watching everything. Occupational habit. You are 17. You do not have an occupation. Protecting you has become surprisingly time-consuming." Noah turned toward the window so Ethan would not see his smile. That was dangerously close to flirting. "Maybe I am adapting." The answer landed softly between them. Noah looked back. Ethan's sandy blonde hair caught the morning light, and without the crowded hallways of Westbrook around him, he looked less like the polished golden boy everyone knew and more like the boy Noah had slowly discovered underneath. Young, tired, trying very hard not to be afraid. "Ethan." "Yeah. Thank you for coming." Ethan looked at him briefly. "There was never a version of today where I let you do this alone." Noah's chest tightened. "That is sweet and slightly controlling. I contain multitudes." Noah laughed, and for a few miles the mystery loosened its grip. Mill Creek appeared shortly after 8:30, a small town of brick storefronts and tree-lined streets that looked too peaceful to contain anything Noah's father had hidden for years. The storage facility sat near the edge of town behind a hardware store. Unit 214 was in the last row. Noah slid the brass key into the lock. His hand stopped. Ethan stood beside him. Not in front. Not behind. Beside. "Ready?" Ethan asked. "No good." "Me neither." Noah turned the key. Inside were cardboard boxes, an old desk lamp, 2 winter coats, and a metal filing cabinet. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that explained 8 years of fear. Then Noah noticed a shoebox on the desk with his name written across the lid in his father's handwriting. He opened it. Photographs. Dozens of them. Noah at 9 outside school. Noah at a park. Noah and Claire carrying groceries. But these were not photographs of Noah. In nearly every image, the camera was centered somewhere else. On the dark blue sedan. Different streets. Different dates. Same car. Ethan crouched beside him. Your father was documenting it. Noah swallowed. He knew. Beneath the photographs was a road map covered in circles and dates. Ethan spread it across the desk. One location appeared repeatedly. A diner called Mercer's, 6 miles outside town. Noah stared at the name. Daniel Mercer. Ethan nodded slowly. Maybe he did not disappear as completely as your mother thought. A folded piece of paper slipped from the map. Noah opened it. The handwriting belonged to his father. Daniel is not following us. Daniel is watching the car. If anything happens, trust him. Noah read it twice. Then a third time. Ethan, I know. Every assumption they had carried into Mill Creek had just shifted. Noah reached deeper into the box and found a photograph dated 8 years earlier. His father stood outside Mercer's diner beside another man. Daniel. Behind them was the blue sedan. Invisible through the windshield was a third person. Ethan suddenly leaned closer. Noah, look at the driver. Noah did. His breath caught. He knew that face. Not from Westbrook. Not from the investigation. From framed photographs that had sat in his grandmother's living room his entire childhood. That cannot be right, Noah whispered. Ethan looked at him. Noah could barely make himself say the words. That is my uncle. Noah stared at the photograph until the face behind the windshield stopped looking familiar and started looking impossible. My uncle disappeared before my dad died, he said. Ethan stayed beside him, close enough to steady him without touching him. What was his name? Michael Bennett. My father's older brother. Noah swallowed. Everyone said he moved away after some family argument. My mother barely mentioned him after that. Ethan studied the photograph. Could he have owned the sedan? Maybe, but why would my father spend years documenting his own brother's car? Noah searched the shoebox again, faster now. Receipts. Photographs. Notes. Then his fingers found an envelope marked Michael. Inside was a letter from Noah's father. Michael, if you are reading this, then Daniel was right. Someone has been using your name, your records, and your car to make it look like you are responsible. Do not contact Claire until we know who is behind it. Noah stopped. Using his name? Ethan read over his shoulder. Then the person in that photograph might not be your uncle. It looks exactly like him. A photograph proves who was there. It does not always prove why. Noah let out a humorless laugh. That sounds like something you learned after keeping hundreds of pictures of me. Ethan winced. I deserve that. A little. The tension broke for half a second, then returned when Noah noticed a business card taped beneath the envelope. Mercer's Diner. On the back, someone had written 11:30, Thursday. Noah checked his phone. Thursday. Today. That cannot be a coincidence. Ethan's expression hardened. We should leave. Noah looked at him. We just found a meeting time connected to Daniel Mercer. Exactly. And you want to leave? I want to think before walking into something somebody may have arranged specifically for us. Noah folded his arms. There it is. What? The Ethan Carter Emergency Protocol. Step 1. Discover danger. Step 2. Decide Noah cannot handle it. Step 3. Disappear into heroic nonsense. Ethan stared at him. That is not fair. Neither was hiding things from me for years. I was trying to keep you safe. You are still trying. Ethan's jaw tightened. Because I am scared, Noah. The words landed harder than shouting could have. Ethan looked away, all that polished confidence suddenly gone. Every time another message appears, every time that car comes back, I think about what could happen if I miss something. One detail, one warning, one moment. Noah's anger softened. Ethan, you helped me once when we were kids, and you probably forgot about it by dinner. I did not. You were kind to me when nobody was watching. I carried that for years. His voice dropped. Then I found out someone was watching you, and somewhere along the way protecting you became the one thing I could not fail at. Noah stepped closer. Look at me. Ethan did. I am not asking you to stop caring. Noah's voice trembled despite his effort to steady it. I am asking you to stop acting like caring means making every decision alone. Ethan said nothing. Noah held out his hand. If we go to that diner, we go together. If something feels wrong, we leave together. No secrets. Ethan looked at Noah's hand, then took it. No secrets. At 11:23, they parked across from Mercer's Diner. The place looked almost abandoned, its faded red sign moving slightly in the wind. Noah's phone vibrated. Unknown number. One message. Come. Inside. Ethan too. Noah showed him. Ethan exhaled slowly. Well, apparently I am invited. Try not to look so popular. They entered together. Only one customer sat in the back booth, a gray-haired man with tired eyes and a coffee untouched in front of him. He looked at Noah, then Ethan. You finally found the box, he said. Noah froze. Daniel Mercer? The man nodded. Noah's pulse raced. Were you sending the messages? Daniel looked toward the window before answering. Some of them. And the sedan? Daniel's expression changed. You still think I was watching you? Noah said nothing. Daniel leaned forward. Kid, I was never watching you. His eyes moved toward the parking lot. I was watching the car. Daniel's words seemed to drain every sound from the diner. Noah glanced through the window at the nearly empty parking lot, half expecting the dark blue sedan to be sitting there. It was not. Somehow, that made him more uneasy. Then explain it, Noah said. Daniel wrapped both hands around his untouched coffee. 8 years ago, your father discovered financial records connected to a community development project in Westbrook. Properties were being purchased through shell companies, then resold for enormous profits after zoning decisions were quietly changed. Your father worked in accounting. He noticed numbers that did not make sense. Noah sat across from him. Ethan took the seat beside Noah, their shoulders touching. What does that have to do with my uncle? Michael helped your father trace the companies. Daniel sighed. Then someone began using Michael's identity to make it appear that he was involved. Noah remembered the letter. Someone has been using your name, your records, and your car. The sedan belonged to Michael? Originally. Daniel nodded. He sold it after realizing someone had duplicated paperwork connected to it. But the car kept appearing. Same color. Same model. Sometimes even plates registered under variations of his name. Ethan leaned forward. Someone wanted witnesses to blame Michael. Daniel looked impressed. Exactly. Noah's thoughts raced. Then why were there photographs of me? Your father took most of those photographs. Noah. He was documenting when the sedan appeared near your family. Later, Ethan documented the same pattern without knowing your father had done it first. Ethan went still. Noah turned toward him. 8 years apart, two people had independently created nearly identical records because both had been trying to protect the same person. That is deeply unsettling, Noah murmured. Ethan gave him a nervous glance. I was going to say weirdly poetic. Both can be true. Daniel almost smiled, but it disappeared quickly. After your father died, I promised Claire I would keep watching for the sedan. I sent warnings when it returned. Anonymous warnings, Noah said. You could have signed your name. I could not risk connecting myself to your family publicly. But you texted my mother today. Daniel frowned. No, I did not. Noah's stomach dropped. She received a message from your number. That number has been disconnected for years. Ethan immediately pulled out his phone. Then somebody wanted Mrs. Bennett to believe it was you. Daniel nodded slowly. Which means they know you found the photograph. Noah felt Ethan tense beside him. Who is that? Daniel looked toward the front counter, then back at Noah. That is the part your father never solved. Noah leaned closer. But you know something. Daniel hesitated before reaching into his coat and placing a small flash drive on the table. Your father gave me this shortly before he died. He told me not to open it unless the sedan returned after you turned 17. Noah stared at it. Why 17? He never told me. Ethan looked at Noah. Your birthday was 2 months ago, and the car returned 3 weeks later, Noah whispered. Daniel pushed the drive toward him. Your father expected this. Noah reached for it, but Ethan gently covered Noah's hand with his own, not stopping him, just reminding him he was there. Noah looked at Ethan. Together? Ethan nodded. Together. Daniel's gaze softened. Your father would have liked that answer. Noah slipped the drive into his pocket. There is something else I need to know. My uncle. Is Michael alive? Daniel's expression became unreadable. The man you saw in that photograph was Michael. Noah stopped breathing. Then why did my father write that someone was using his identity? Because Michael was helping them. The words landed quietly. Ethan frowned. Helping who? Daniel looked directly at Noah. That depends on when you are asking. At first, Michael was helping your father. He paused. Then something changed. Noah felt a cold weight settle in his chest. What changed? Daniel looked toward the window again. This time his face went completely still. Noah followed his gaze. Across the road, parked beneath an old oak tree, was the dark blue sedan. Daniel whispered. He chose a side. For one long second, nobody moved. The dark blue sedan sat across the road beneath the oak tree, perfectly still, almost ordinary enough to make Noah question everything he had learned in the last hour. Then its headlights blinked once. Ethan stood immediately. "We are leaving." Daniel nodded. "Use the back door." Noah looked between them. "Wait. If that is Michael, I need answers." "You need information," Ethan said, his voice low and steady. "You do not need to walk across a street because somebody wants your attention." Noah hated how reasonable that sounded. He hated even more that Ethan was right. Daniel led them through the diner kitchen and out a rear exit into a narrow gravel lot. Ethan stayed beside Noah instead of moving ahead of him. Noah noticed. No secret heroics. No ordering him around. Together, they reached Ethan's car and drove toward the center of Mill Creek. The sedan did not follow. 10 minutes later, Ethan parked outside the public library, where Daniel said they could safely open the flash drive on an offline computer in a private study room. Noah inserted it. One folder appeared. Bennett. Inside were scanned financial records, photographs, property documents, and a video file recorded by Noah's father. Noah clicked it. His father appeared on screen, younger than Noah remembered him, sitting in the old home office. "Noah, if you are seeing this, then you are old enough to hear what I should have been brave enough to explain myself." Noah's throat tightened. Ethan's hand rested on the table, inches from his. Not touching. Waiting. "Michael and I discovered that several families were pressured into selling property through misleading offers. We collected records because we believed the people involved should be held accountable. Michael wanted to expose everything immediately. I wanted to verify the evidence first." Noah leaned closer to the screen. "Then Michael changed his mind. He told me powerful people were involved, and that continuing would destroy our family. I believed he was afraid. I was wrong." His father paused. "Michael made an agreement. He gave them access to some of our records in exchange for leaving Claire and Noah alone." Noah whispered, "He betrayed Dad." Daniel shook his head. "Keep listening." On screen, Noah's father continued. "I was angry with my brother for years before I understood what he had actually done. Michael gave them false records. He became their source so he could learn who was involved. The sedan became part of his cover. If you have seen it again, then Michael may still be trying to finish what we started." Noah sat back. Everything shifted again. Villain, traitor, protector. Each label had lasted only long enough to become another mistake. Ethan finally touched Noah's hand. "Your uncle did not choose their side." Noah looked at him. "He made them believe he did." Daniel nodded. "And that is why I disappeared. Michael and I agreed that one of us needed to remain invisible." Noah turned sharply. "You have been working with him?" "Not for 6 years. We stopped communicating after your father died." "Then why are you here now?" Daniel's expression tightened. "Because 3 weeks ago, I received a package." He reached into his coat and removed a folded photograph. It showed Noah and Ethan at the community festival, their hands linked beneath strings of lights. Noah recognized the exact moment. His chest went cold. On the back was a handwritten message. "The boy is not alone anymore." Daniel looked at Ethan. "That is when I knew someone had started watching again." Ethan stared at the photograph, then at Noah. "They know about us." Noah should have been frightened. He was. But beneath the fear was something unexpectedly steady. He turned his hand beneath Ethan's and intertwined their fingers. Ethan looked down, surprised. "Good," Noah said quietly. "Then they also know I am not alone." Daniel's phone vibrated. He checked the screen and went silent. Noah recognized that silence immediately. "What?" Daniel turned the phone toward them. A new message had arrived from an unknown number. "Noah deserves the whole truth. Ask Claire who signed the original property transfer." Noah read it twice. Ethan frowned. "Your mother?" Noah shook his head slowly. No, a memory surfaced from childhood, something he had never considered important. His mother keeping one framed family photograph in a drawer instead of on the wall. His father refusing to attend a certain Thanksgiving dinner. His grandmother saying there were some things families survived by never discussing. Noah looked at Daniel. "My grandmother." Daniel did not answer. He did not need to. Noah finally understood why this secret had survived for nearly a decade. It had never been hidden outside his family. It had been hidden inside it. Noah called his mother before they left the library. Claire answered on the second ring. "Mom, I need Grandma's address." Silence. Then a tired breath. "You opened the storage unit." It was not a question. "And Dad's flash drive." Another silence. Noah, come home. Not until you tell me who signed the original property transfer. Ethan stood beside him, watching without interfering. Daniel remained near the study room door. Claire finally whispered, "Your grandmother did." Noah closed his eyes. Why? Because she thought she was protecting us. That word again. Protecting. Noah was beginning to understand how much damage people could cause while believing protection excused secrecy. Claire gave him the address. His grandmother, Evelyn Bennett, had moved 3 years earlier to a small house outside Mill Creek, less than 9 miles away. Daniel stayed behind, promising to organize the files and contact Claire directly. Before Noah left, Daniel caught his attention. Your grandmother made a bad decision. Do not decide what kind of person she is before hearing why. Noah nodded, although he was not sure he could. Promise that. The drive to Evelyn's house took 15 minutes. Ethan was unusually quiet. You can say it, Noah murmured. Say what? That this is getting complicated. Ethan glanced at him. It was complicated when I had a wall of photographs and somehow believed that was a reasonable communication strategy. Noah laughed despite himself. That remains deeply weird. I know. The smile faded from Ethan's face. Noah, whatever you learned today, it does not change who you are. Noah looked out the window. You always know the annoyingly correct thing to say. I practice in the mirror. That explains everything. Evelyn's house stood at the end of a quiet road lined with pine trees. She opened the door before they knocked. She was small, silver-haired, and looked older than Noah remembered. Her eyes moved from Noah to Ethan, then to their joined hands. So, she said softly, it finally reached you. Inside, Evelyn placed an old folder on the dining table. Your grandfather owned 20 acres outside Westbrook. Developers wanted it because a major commercial project was planned nearby. He refused to sell. Noah opened the folder. Then why is there a transfer? After he died, I was told the family owed more money than we could possibly pay. I panicked. I signed. Ethan examined the papers. These debt notices do not match the county records Daniel showed us. Evelyn nodded. Because the debt was invented. Noah stared at her. You were tricked. Yes. Your father discovered it years later. Michael helped him investigate. And the sedan? Evelyn looked toward the window. Michael bought that car while investigating the company that arranged the transfer. When he realized someone was using copies of his registration to create a trail back to him, he sold it. But identical cars kept appearing. Noah felt the final pieces moving into place. So whoever did this wanted Michael blamed if the investigation became public. Exactly. Ethan's phone suddenly vibrated. His expression changed as he read the screen. Noah. A message had arrived from Daniel. Do not leave Evelyn's house. The sedan is back. Ethan immediately moved toward the front window. Noah caught his arm. Together. Ethan looked at him, then nodded. They checked from behind the curtain. The dark blue sedan was parked nearly 50 yards down the road. Nobody got out. Nobody approached. It simply waited. Then Ethan's phone rang. Daniel. Ethan answered. Daniel. Static. Then Daniel's voice. I found the original company records. I know who arranged the transfer. Ethan put the call on speaker. Who? A man named Richard Vale. He was the attorney handling the Bennett estate. Evelyn went pale. Noah noticed. Grandma. Her lips parted. Richard Vale was not just our attorney. Noah felt the room tighten around him. What was he? Evelyn looked directly at Noah. He was your grandfather's business partner. Outside, the sedan's headlights turned on. Ethan instinctively stepped closer to Noah. Noah did not move behind him. Instead, he moved beside him. The car remained where it was for another 5 seconds, then slowly pulled away. Noah watched until it disappeared between the trees. Ethan exhaled. We should stay here until Daniel confirms it is clear. Noah looked at him. You mean we should stay? Ethan understood immediately. A small smile appeared. We should stay. Noah reached for his hand. You are learning. Ethan squeezed his fingers. Slowly. Then Evelyn spoke from behind them. There is one more thing. Noah turned. His grandmother was holding an old envelope. Written across the front in his father's handwriting were 3 words. For Noah only. Evelyn handed it to him. Your father left this with me 8 years ago. Noah stared at her. Why did you never give it to me? Tears filled her eyes. Because he told me to wait until the blue car came back. Noah held the envelope without opening it. 8 years. His father had written those 3 words 8 years ago, then trusted Evelyn to wait for a moment none of them could predict. Ethan stood quietly beside him. He did not reach for the envelope. He did not tell Noah what to do. That mattered more than Noah expected. Finally, Noah broke the seal. Inside was a single handwritten letter. Noah, if the blue car has returned, then someone believes the truth is still worth hiding. Do not chase the car. Follow the records. Cars can be replaced. Names can be borrowed. Paper trails are harder to erase. Noah stopped and looked at Ethan. Dad knew. Ethan nodded. Keep reading. Noah lowered his eyes. Michael made mistakes, but betraying us was not one of them. He agreed to appear cooperative so he could document what Richard Vale was doing. Daniel helped him. Claire knew only enough to keep you safe. I asked her to keep it that way because you deserved a childhood without carrying our fear. If you are reading this now, I am sorry that choice became another secret you had to inherit. Noah swallowed hard. The final lines blurred for a moment. Most of all, remember this. Being protected does not mean being powerless. Choose people who stand beside you, not people who decide your life for you. Noah stopped breathing. Ethan looked away first. That feels strangely specific. A small laugh escaped Noah, shaky and emotional. My dad would have liked you. Even after the photograph situation, let us not get ambitious. Evelyn laughed through her tears. The sound loosened something in the room. Noah folded the letter carefully and placed it back inside the envelope. By late afternoon, Daniel had sent copies of the original property records to Claire and Evelyn. The documents connected Richard Vale to the false debt notices, shell companies, and transfers surrounding the Bennett property. Daniel also confirmed something unexpected. Michael was alive. He had spent years gathering records from outside Westbrook, waiting until there was enough evidence to challenge the old transactions without putting the Bennett family back under scrutiny. The anonymous warnings had come from Daniel and Michael. The threatening messages had not. Those had been designed to make the warnings look dangerous and keep Noah suspicious of the very people trying to help him. The blue sedan had never been one mysterious car. It was a symbol, repeatedly recreated to preserve an old lie. Weeks later, the records were turned over to investigators and attorneys who could handle what Noah's family never should have carried alone. Claire finally told Noah everything she knew. Evelyn apologized without asking to be immediately forgiven. Michael called from another state, and Noah spent nearly 2 hours listening to the voice of an uncle he had been taught to think had simply disappeared. Nothing became perfect overnight, but the secrets stopped multiplying. At Westbrook, life returned to its usual rhythm of crowded hallways, homework, and people pretending not to stare at Noah and Ethan. One Friday afternoon, they walked toward the parking lot together. Ethan's hand brushed Noah's, then hesitated. Students were everywhere. Months ago, Ethan would have checked who was watching. Noah would have pretended not to notice. Ethan started to pull his hand away. Noah caught it. Ethan looked at him. What? Noah intertwined their fingers. You are doing it again. Doing what? Thinking you have to decide what protects me. Ethan's expression softened. Old habit. Noah squeezed his hand. Then get a new one. They kept walking. People looked. Noah let them. For years, someone had watched him from a distance and turned being seen into something frightening. Ethan had watched too, but somewhere along the way, watching had become caring. Caring had become trust, and trust had become something Noah was finally brave enough to name. Ethan. Yeah. Noah smiled. I think we are dating. Ethan stared at him with exaggerated seriousness. You think? Do not ruin this. Ethan laughed, bright and unguarded, and Noah realized he had never heard that sound at Westbrook before. Ethan lifted their joined hands slightly. No secrets. Noah looked at him, at the boy who had spent years standing guard and was finally learning simply to stand beside him. No secrets. They crossed the parking lot together, neither letting go. And for the first time, Noah did not care who might be watching.